This is The Sports Life.
Here we go. Waiting on the snap. The Bruins to win it. If this kick is good, it's on the way. And the Bruins win it. Zero's on the clock. Pagani bags it. Your final 20-17. Let's go down and wave up.
And I'm with Anthony Frias. Anthony, how great does this feel? Oh, man, it's amazing. It's a great day to be a Bruin, baby. Woo!
And welcome into the Sports Life. Will Teeman here along with Dalton Shetler, the voice of Josh Lewin of UCLA, as the Bruins have rediscovered their football life as they continue to roll. And I'm just trying to imagine, Dalton, when they were like, 0-4, firing everybody, just grabbing anybody that could fill a spot. Now look at them.
It's a team that lost by 4 scores to New Mexico at home in a game where they paid New Mexico. It's ridiculous, the turnaround they've had.
They are just absolutely rolling, and it's kind of fun to see where they may or may not wind up when this whole thing is said and done. Well, as always, we think we have a pretty good show lined up for you, and we're going to do a salute to Terry Wymer. Terry Wymer, the Collegiate Officiating Consortium head, which means in many ways he controlled a lot of the officiating in America, including the Big Ten. Well, he suddenly passed away, and we're going to salute his life and times.
That'll be a really special thing to bring a little bit later on. On the happy note, this is, well, especially if you're a green and white fan, this is the 10-year anniversary of Trouble with the Snap, where Michigan State and Michigan had that classic finish of a college football game, one of the best you'll ever see in this sport's history. And so we celebrate 10 years of this moment as these two teams collide this weekend again. And to celebrate it, we're going to be talking to voices that were on the calls for them on the radio networks. We're going to be bringing you those radio calls. We're going to hear from the head coaches at the time. We're going to have a lot of fun later on with that.
Well, as for fun, sounds of the week, what do you got?
Well, let's keep with the fun of the Bruins. I heard it's a great time to be UCLA Bruin there in the open. Interim head coach Tim Skipper talked earlier this week about the turnaround for UCLA and how this has all evolved.
Tough games, you're going to need everybody. And like we preach all the time, you never know when your moment's going to happen. So you just keep working hard, you keep executing, keep sawing wood, and when your opportunity comes, take full advantage of that. So it was a whole team effort. You can name a lot of people that contributed to this thing. That was awesome to just see guys just keep fighting and straining. Nobody pointed fingers. That's the main thing. It got tight. It was really tight down there on the sideline. Nobody was pointing fingers. We're just like, hey, we're a play away. We're a play away. We're almost there. We're almost there. And it came true, and we figured out a way to finish it off.
Well, if they keep doing this, how do you not hire him as the head coach?
I mean, it's a great question.
I mean, it is a performance business, right? And these guys are performing at the craziest level right now.
Well, and if you take a look at their season, you mentioned they start 0-4. They win 3 in a row, so now they sit at 3-4. Next up for the Bruins, they have a tough one this weekend with Indiana. They're at Bloomington. After that, it's Nebraska. Ohio State certainly won't be easy, going to the number 1 team in the country. Then Washington and USC. I mean, you have a hard time just doubting UCLA at this point, but imagine if they could pull off 3 of these wins left on the schedule, Will, and then you're talking about the Bruins maybe going bowling after what a disastrous start this was for UCLA. It's really incredible.
If there's anybody that can get Indiana at home, it's these guys.
Of course.
Because it makes no sense at all.
That's why we love college football in a nutshell. Well, we mentioned there is a great rivalry this weekend with Michigan State and Michigan colliding. We talked about the 10-year anniversary of Trouble with the Snap. We're going to be hearing a little bit more about that later on. But to get ready for this year's edition of the Paul Bunyan Trophy, we hear from both of the head coaches during the week ahead of this one. We'll start with Michigan State's head coach, Jonathan Smith.
This game means a ton to our players, but also former players, the program. You think about alumni, all of it. It's a very important, meaningful game, and so that creates a huge opportunity for us, especially kind of where we're at with things this season. Hasn't gone our way, all those things. I think it comes at a good time to galvanize this group and have a great week of work getting ready for Saturday night.
And it was interesting, Dalton, a year ago after the first Michigan State-Michigan game with this current Spartan football staff, the Coach Smith's credit, he said, I didn't quite get it. Mm-hmm. Well, he openly admits he gets it now. And they've been working all week in the history of this game and making sure everybody understands the importance of it. So it'll be interesting to see the demeanor this go around compared to what happened a year ago.
Yeah, that part is going to be really interesting. And to your point, a lot of former players coming back around the hallways of East Lansing to make sure that they share a little bit of tidbit and maybe motivation with this current Spartan team. Well, on the other side, the Michigan Wolverines are taking this pretty serious as well. Head coach Sharon Moore talked about getting the Wolverines ready for this rivalry.
During training camp, we talk about our rivalries. We talk about every game. We talk about all the big games, but they'll definitely re-educate them on what this means. This means a lot. This means everything. We'll talk about Paul Bunyan, what that means to us here in this facility in Ann Arbor and the University of Michigan. We'll talk about the history of the rivalry, what it means, and all the implications of what winning this game is about. So we'll definitely educate our young guys and let them know that this is a game we put everything into.
One of the great quotes, Dalton, came from former Michigan head football coach Lloyd Carr when he talked about the Paul Bunyan Trophy. He said, "This is one of the most ugly trophies ever, but you sure do miss him when you don't have him."
Hey, talk about ugly trophies, too. And Michigan plays for a jug, and Michigan State plays for a spittoon. but the Bunyan's uglier to
Yeah.
them.
The spittoon is classic. Anyway, when we come back with more of the Sports Life, we're going to talk about the game. Some people call it the 10-second game. Some people call it trouble with a snap. It's all coming up in just a moment.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Dad. Did you get a new haircut or something? A new shirt? You're looking good.
What happened?
A little fender bender?
How little?
A few days in the shop little. But thanks to Mom and our agent, we've already submitted a claim and can track the status right from the app. Auto owners pays what they owe without any hassle.
Sounds like simple human sense.
I'm fine, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna ask.
Ask your independent agent if auto owners make sense for you.
Every kid deserves a chance to feel safe, to have their own bed, to be loved and cared for. That's why I love my foster parents. They make me feel like part of the family.
Raise hope and foster dreams for one of 13,000 Michigan children in foster care. Visit michigan.gov/hope for a home or call 855-MICH-KIDS. That's 855-MICH-KIDS. Sponsored by the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services and the Michigan Association of Broadcasters.
Do you hear that? That's the sound of uncertainty lurking under your hood. You know the feeling. I know I do. That sudden sinking sensation when you see a check engine light or your car unexpectedly breaks down and you're faced with sky-high repair bills. It's time to shield against unexpected repairs with CarShield. CarShield is America's most trusted auto protection company and has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. Don't let the fear of a breakdown keep you up at night. Trust the Shield, CarShield, and say goodbye to terrifying repair bills and hello to peace of mind. Your plan also comes with 24/7 roadside assistance, courtesy towing, rental car options, and so much more. Don't wait till it's too late. Call CarShield now before a breakdown. Protect your wallet. Protect your car with CarShield. Get our best protection ever. Call now. You'll thank me later. 800-965-1292. 800-965-1292. That's 800-965-1292.
We'll be back with more in a moment. This is The Sports Life.
Roxanne Watson is on a mission.
Hello, how are you doing today?
She wants more people to register as organ, eye, and tissue donors.
Are you an organ donor?
Yes, I am.
Yay.
My goal is to sign up the most people in the United States.
What drives her? Roxanne's own life was saved through the gift of a heart transplant, made possible by an organ donor.
I decided that day that I was going to devote myself to the cause of organ donation and signing people up and honoring my donor by doing that.
Now she's back to health, and she's a powerful force helping to save lives every day through her work. Imagine what you can make possible by leaving behind the gift of life.
8 people can be helped with the major organs, and up to 50 people can be helped with a little bit of everything. And when you think about it that way, that you could help that many people, it's amazing. It really is.
Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
And welcome back for more of the Sports Live. Will Team here along with Dalton Shetler. And don't forget, Auto Owners Insurance, simple human sense. Ask your independent agent if auto owners make sense for you. Well, we're celebrating the 10-second game, the trouble with the snap game from 10 years ago, where Michigan State pulled off a miracle to upset rival Michigan. Well, joining us now to reflect on this magic moment of college football is the legendary voice of Spartan football, George Blaha. And George, thanks for joining us. And our first question is, when that play was going on, what were you thinking as you were describing it?
I was thinking, somehow get this right. This is amazing. It's flying before me, and I was pretty sure it was Jalen Watts Jackson, but I had to double check and make sure it was. And so you need all the help you could get from your spotters and everybody else in the booth. And in the meantime, everybody's screaming up there because they're all green and white faithful. And I could hear Wendy Hart and Mary Blaha making a lot of noise. And everybody in Michigan Stadium was quiet. So you could probably hear us all the way across the field. It was an amazing moment, and I'll never forget it, that's for sure.
Well, you mentioned it takes a village for some of these broadcast calls, George, and you kind of started exactly where my biggest curiosity is. Jalen Watts Jackson is 1 out of 11 special teams guys. He's not the quarterback. Not everybody knows who Jalen Watts Jackson is when that play is happening. How did you have Jalen Watts Jackson there?
Well, as you know, Dalton, you got to have all those numbers somewhere at your fingertips, and so all I had to do was, I was pretty sure it was Jalen Watts Jackson, but I had to double check before I said so, and I think when something of that magnitude is going on, you darn well better get it right. So fortunately, I did.
Well, it's been a decade now, George, and if you sit back and reflect a little bit, what do you think as you reflect back on that magic moment?
I think, and I've said this a number of times, and I put a little book together on what's going on in my career, and it's a big item in my book. Mark D'Antonio knows how to win close games. He reminds me of a NBA basketball coach or a big-time college basketball coach. You get the team ready for the game, you play the game, and then in the last 2 or 3 minutes you figure out how to win the game. And maybe that doesn't always happen in football, but it seemed to happen a lot with Mark D'Antonio, and he almost always made the right decision down the stretch. And he decided, hey, we're going after this guy. Why wouldn't we? And Michigan still got the gunners out there. So in case Michigan State's going to return the punt, well, with 11 guys charging into to try to get the punter, nobody's going to return that punt. They didn't need the gunners. So the Spartans obviously outsmarted the Wolverines on that play. And kudos to Mark D'Antonio. He does it. He did it time and time again throughout his Michigan State career. Figured out a way to win big games. And not only that, he beat Michigan 8 times in 13 seasons. And I know he'd like to have beaten them all 13, but that was still big time to do that, especially after a little bit of disrespect over the years from the Wolverines to the Spartan program.
Well, and you mentioned he's got a collection of clutch moments and iconic finishes throughout his career. This might be the crown jewel. And, George, you think about in college football history, you have the band on the field of Stanford Cal. You have the kick six between Auburn, Alabama. You have this play, trouble with the snap. As somebody who was witnessing it and talking everybody through it in real time, what makes this play, this finish, maybe unique and different as it sits among that class of the greatest finishes in this sport's history?
Well, you got a team that's going to win the game if they can get a punt away. And as a matter of fact, and we were thinking this, we probably even said so, the reason they were ahead was because of their punter. Michigan State outgained Michigan by a substantial amount, probably outplayed them most of the game, but they were behind because of the great job the punter did for Michigan. And then he's the poor guy who had trouble with a low snap, and the Spartans were all over him. It's amazing. A game could turn, and not just any game. That's why this was so special. This wasn't just any game. This was the game, the rivalry game between the Spartans and the Wolverines. And I think this was Jim Harbaugh's first taste of the rivalry. So it was an amazing moment. So many things had to happen to make it as significant as it was. Probably is something most of us will never forget.
Well, George, I appreciate it.
Great being on with you guys.
There you go. Some of the thoughts of the voice of Spartan football, George Blaha, who's entering his 49th season. So, Dalton, I think it's fair to say he's seen some things over his 49 years.
Probably nothing quite like that, though.
No. But anyway, here's what it sounded like.
10 seconds left. And let me tell you, folks, nobody is deep. Spartans coming after him. Bad snap. Bobble. Scooped up. Here come the Spartans. Down the sideline. Racing into the end zone.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Into the end zone is Jalen Watts Jackson. Touchdown, MSU.
Touchdown.
Folks, no flags.
No flags.
Oh, my God. Piling on each other in the end zone. It's over. The Spartans win again. The Spartans win again.
George, what a call. My God. My God. How did that happen? Michigan goes back for a punt with 10 seconds to go on the clock.
And that voice is Jason Strayhorn, the analyst on the network at that point in time. And I love his line, "Oh, my God, how did that happen?"
That's how everybody felt, right?
You're like, what really just happened? Well, in the era of Mark D'Antonio, a lot of things like that happened. Maybe not that dramatic, but there's some things in Coach D's era, as he became the all-time winningest coach in Michigan State, that you really can't explain. Well, here's what he said to the press after that game.
You know, I don't know what you say about that. You go from 10 seconds and guy punting the ball to you thinking, okay, this is done, and then all of a sudden life gets flipped upside down. We come out on the top end of it, but I thought it was a great effort by both football teams. I thought it was a very well-played football game, intense, and that's what I looked for from our football team when we came down here. We wanted to make sure that we came and mentally we were 4 times stronger than we were physically. That was our message to our players. We knew we'd have to weather a storm or be the storm. I think we weathered it really pretty much throughout the game. I think we kept bouncing back. We never got the lead. And then at the end of the day, you know, I guess we stormed back with an 11-man block. We put all 11 up there, and things happen. You know, football is a crazy, crazy game. I can't really hardly explain it. But we just had a belief. There was a belief in what went down.
Mark D'Antonio, and during his era, there was a belief. You could just feel it when you walked into the football building. Well, some people call this the 10-second game. Some people call it the trouble with the snap game. And that line came from Sean McDonough, who was calling the TV for ABC at that time. And it was amazing how he came up with his call.
Whoa, he has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free. It's picked up by Michigan State's Jalen Watts Jackson, and he scores on the last play of the game. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable is a nice way to say that. But, you know, it was one of the interesting things. Jalen Watts Jackson was not like the star running back, star receiver, star anything. And the fact that the Michigan State Network got it right away. Okay, you might expect that, but I'm pretty sure that when Sean was doing his prep, he wasn't going, tell me about Jalen Watts Jackson, right? I'm guessing that wasn't happening. And so, I just think the spotters involved here, we don't talk about those guys, but they had a good moment too.
They're the MVPs, really, of these moments right here.
Well, when we come back with more of the sports life, we're going to look at the other side of this and visit with the former voice of the Wolverines of Michigan, Jim Brandstatter, in just a moment.
So, got one for you, boss.
Oh, yeah?
What's black, white, and dented all over?
I give up.
The company truck. I know, but thanks to our agent, we've already submitted an insurance claim and can track the status right from the app. Auto owners pays what they owe without any hassle.
Lucky for you, that's simple human sense.
Ask your independent agent if auto owners make sense for you.
Here's a real-life story that affects 50% of all of us out there. It's called divorce. If you've gotten divorced and now you're struggling to pay your bills and your credit card debts are completely out of control, you need to call this special debt relief hotline right now. We help people with all kinds of money problems caused by different life challenges, a divorce, a job loss, even heavy medical bills. All these life events can sometimes financially stress you out and cause you to get out of control. We help people get their lives back by showing them ways to consolidate and reduce their debt, in some cases for a fraction of what they owe. If your credit card balances are more than $10,000, call us and learn how to reduce your credit card bills and monthly payments now. Here's our number.
Paid for by Debt.com. Call now, 800-810-1584, 800-810-1584, 800-810-1584. That's 800-810-1584.
That ought to do it. Totally energy efficient.
Oh no, not again. This time, we're getting help.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the battle of energy efficiency improvements. In this corner, Mr. I can save money and do it on my own. And in this corner, Miss Let's Get It Done Right with some help. Fight!
Or you could just go to avoidenergydrama.com. From sealing your home to helpful loan options, you'll find all the tips and tools you need to stop wasting energy and stay comfortable. Avoidenergydrama.com. Brought to you by Michigan Saves.
We'll be back with more in a moment. This is The Sports Life.
Unlike other health concerns, mental illness is not always easy to see. Depression won't show up on an eye chart, and you can't measure it on your bathroom scale. Sorting out a mental health concern is not something to attempt on your own. You won't find a bipolar disorder by looking at a thermometer. Like many other health conditions, help for mental illness takes professional diagnosis and treatment. Anxiety won't just go away under a stick-on bandage. So the sooner you seek treatment, the better. If you or a loved one has a mental health concern, don't go it alone. Find out what to do. For 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral, call 1-800-662-HELP. Learn more at samhsa.gov/support. That's samhsa.gov/support.
And welcome back for more of the Sports Life. Will Tiemann here along with Dalton Shetler. Well, we are celebrating one of the great moments in the history of college football. And whether you're a Spartan or a Wolverine, it really doesn't make much difference because this game is one that will stand the test of time. And a fellow that was on the call, Jim Brandstetter, the former voice of the Michigan football team and a great player for them, I might add, Jim. And so Dalton and I thought we would ask you this first question. As that play was unfolding, what were you thinking?
Well, first of all, I'm not sure I agree with your intro there that if you're from either side, it's one of those great moments and count. You know, it was a gut punch. You know, for us Michigan guys, Will, it wasn't exactly one of those shining moments where we're singing the victors and walking down State Street. You know, it's not one of those things, but hey, it was a great college football game. There's no question. And it went to the old adage that football games are 60 minutes long. They're not 59 minutes and 54 seconds long. And it was great theater in a rivalry game that caught the nation's attention. And I was shocked. I mean, when I saw it happen, we were Michigan's 6-7 seconds away from victory. All they do is kick the ball and it's over. Michigan State didn't have anybody deep. Michigan had a 2-point lead, just kick the ball, it's over. And everybody in their mind is thinking that, even Michigan State, I think, for the most part. And the most improbable of improbables happened. And on the call, you know, your training kicks in, you know. It's a bad snap. He bobbles the snap. It kicks in the air. It's caught by Michigan State. Off they go. They score. They win.
There's nobody back there to field the ball. Oh, he fumbled the ball. Now he fumbled it in the air, and it's picked up by Michigan State at the 20, the 15, the 10, and he's going to score. No time left. You've got to be kidding me. That you could not write. Michigan had the game on the line, on the foot, and Michigan State wins it with a 37-yard fumble return on a punt that is mishandled by Blake O'Neill. I don't know what to say.
And at that point, I just said, I don't believe what I just saw, kind of a Jack Buck thing. So what was I thinking? I was thinking, just get the ball off. And they didn't. And Michigan State, it didn't hit the ground. It didn't fall out of bounds. It didn't do all of those things which could have happened and it could have worked in Michigan's favor. No, it popped in the air. Michigan State player Watts Jackson caught it, ran down the end zone, and the rest is history.
You mentioned the moment in real time, what it was like. As you sit here today and reflect back on it, what was the significance of that game for the rivalry, for the sport of college football? And as you mentioned, it's one of the great ones we've ever seen in sports history.
Well, I think the big thing was it was Jim Harbaugh's first year. Michigan State had a great football team. And, Harbaugh in his first year had lost the opener and hadn't lost until that game. So it got a lot of pregame hype. Michigan State hadn't lost at all. So there was a lot of buildup. And, D'Antoni was established and had a pretty good football team coming back from 2 and 3 years in a row. Connor Cook was their quarterback. So it was Michigan State was the big kid on the block, really, and Harbaugh was kind of the new guy bringing Michigan back. And he had Michigan State beat until that last 6 seconds. And so I think the significance and what it did to the rivalry, I don't think it did. Obviously it's one of those great moments in the rivalry, like the clock game or some of the other games, over the course of the years. But I think with the events surrounding it, with D'Antonio having one of his better teams, Jim Harbaugh in his first year, Harbaugh came in with a lot of attention in regards to bringing Michigan back to where it once was, and if they get the win over Michigan State and a great Michigan State football team, would certainly solidify Harbaugh's position. And in that last 6-7 seconds, the script flipped, and I think that kind of added to, if you want to say, the legend of the Michigan State rivalry.
Well, there you go, the recollection of things from Jim Brandstatter and also his call. And, one of the neat things, Dalton, about the Michigan State call and the Michigan call, you could hear the emotion on both of them. One was jubilation, one was total heartbreak, which tells you how much people care about this thing, right?
Absolutely.
Well, there was a Michigan student station at work as well, and they were a little caught off guard because it was crazy.
Seconds left to play. No man back for the Spartans on the return.
This is guts right here.
Good snap. O'Neill muffed the football, and he can't get away with it. And Michigan State running down the left sideline. Needing a block, and the Spartans are going to win the football. No! Touchdown, Michigan State. Are you kidding me? Michigan State wins the football game as the Spartans break the hearts of the Wolverine faithful. It was the safety, Jalen Watts Jackson, who took it away as O'Neill bobbled the snap, and Michigan State breaks the heart of Michigan fans.
Oh, my God.
Well, there's a lot of ways to lose a football game. He's right. That's one of the worst ways to do it. I love the analyst. No!
It's the perfect seasoning that call in that moment needed.
No! That was so funny. After all the smoke cleared, and Jim Harbaugh, obviously Michigan's head football coach, in his first season, by the way, addressed the press, and that was a little on the somber side. And he addressed three things. He addressed what happened. he addressed talking to punter Blake O'Neill after the game, and then he also talked about the options they had besides punting the ball.
Snap was low, just below the knees, and he didn't field it cleanly, and looked like then he bobbled it again, kind of kicked it a little bit, and looked like he was trying to kick it when he was in traffic. And I mean, you saw it. Is that about what the way you saw it? Very unfortunate. Yep, talked to him. He said after he bobbled, he still thought he could get the ball kicked. It was a mistake. Mistake was made. Mistakes were made. Mistakes were made not fielding it cleanly. And then once he bobbled it a few times, he should have just fell on it. So mistakes were made. Very, very unfortunate. Yeah, the options were to go for it. If you go for it, I mean, you leave him a Hail Mary opportunity. Could protect up and throw a long pass, and probably still though you would eat up 7 seconds, and still they would have the Hail Mary opportunity. Ran through those scenarios, and felt like the best decision was to punt it, and told them to catch it and punt it. They didn't have anybody back when they lined up to the punt, and they didn't have any returners. It's just a matter of catching it and punting it, and we messed it up.
Well, Jim Harbaugh talking about the whole play just got messed up if you're from the Wolverine standpoint. But the one thing, and we've now heard all the calls, right? George Blaha mentioned that nobody was back, right, for Michigan State. The student radio broadcast for Michigan mentioned it. Yet Michigan lined up with 2 gunners on the wings, which meant no matter what happens, there's 11 rushers and 9 guys blocking, and one of them's punting. So you have 11 rushers and 8 guys blocking. That's a problem if you're Michigan.
You don't have to be great at math to know that that's not going to pan out too well.
Are you impressed that I knew those numbers? Huh?
Pretty good.
Pretty good, huh? Anyway, when we come back with more of the sports life, a somber moment as we salute a great individual, but first a break.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Dad. Did you get a new haircut or something? A new shirt? You're looking good.
What happened?
A little fender bender.
How little?
A few days in the shop little. But thanks to Mom and our agent, we've already submitted a claim and can track the status right from the app. Auto Owners pays what they owe without any hassle.
Sounds like simple human sense.
I'm fine, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna ask.
Ask your independent agent if Auto Owners makes sense for you.
So I graduated last year and got a job. Sweet! But it got boring. I didn't really have a purpose. Then I started volunteering with Community Action. It's a statewide network with 29 agencies across Michigan. Community Action helps people with food, housing, utilities, childcare, senior services, you name it. I found my purpose, helping people, changing lives. Won't you join me? Call 1-855-MI-ACTION or go to MichiganCommunityAction.org. Sponsored by Michigan Community Action and Michigan Association of Broadcasters.
This is a potter's field. When people can't pay for their funerals, they are buried here. It is a lonely, desolate place, littered with unmarked headstones. No one visits. No one leaves flowers. But it doesn't have to be that way. For as low as $1 a day, you can ensure your family will have the money to pay your funeral expenses. We offer burial insurance plans that pay up to $30,000. Considering the average funeral costs more than $10,000, that's peace of mind for your family. There are no medical exams, your rates won't increase, and your policy cannot be canceled as long as you make your premium payments. Call now to get approved in minutes and ensure your final resting place is more than just a pauper's grave in a potter's field.
800-562-2407. 800-562-2407. 800-562-2407. That's 800-562-2407. Paid for by Final Expense Direct.
We'll be back with more in a moment. This is The Sports Life.
We all make choices. When it comes to alcohol, kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Hey, have a seat for a second.
Remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. They want guidance and honest answers to their questions. And it makes a difference when the message is consistent and part of everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
And welcome back for more of the Sports Life. Will Teeman here along with Dalton Shetler. Well, this is a sad moment for the sports life and for the world of sports in general. On Saturday, October the 18th, Terry Wymer, one of college basketball's greatest officials, the executive director of the Collegiate Officiating Consortium, passed away at the age of 66, which shocked the college basketball world. As a tribute to Terry, we are going to revisit a cover story that aired this past summer on our show as a salute to his life and his times. Well, if you are looking for the traditional path that will lead you to becoming a Hall of Fame college basketball official, today's cover story will not be much assistance. You see, Terry Wymer, who became one of the most celebrated college basketball officials of his era, when he left high school, he headed off to Findlay College in Findlay, Ohio, never giving a single thought to officiating of any kind of basketball. Now, during his time at Findlay, he played on the Oilers' 1979 National Championship football team, led her 3 times in baseball, and in combination of all of those things that earned him a spot in the Findlay Athletic Hall of Fame. By the way, he's also been inducted into the Ohio Basketball Hall of Fame. Now, it was during this period of time at Findlay College, he dabbled in some high school basketball coaching, something he did not think suited him, but the idea of officiating basketball sort of intrigued him. So with that, his journey was off and running.
I would say, I'm a hick from North Baltimore. Nobody ever expected me to do this. And I tell my officials when they're starting out, if you expect you're going to work the Final Four, or you expect, you put it out there, 1% of 1% of 1% makes the Final Four. I mean, it's just very difficult to do. You have to have a lot of luck. You have to stay healthy. One of the best driving forces for me was I went to a Mid-American summer retreat over in Indiana. It was a golf course over there. And you may remember this name, Will, Eric Harmon. He was the supervisor. So we took, all the staff went in there, and I rode with an individual. And I'll never forget this. He said to me, "What's your aspirations?" I said, I'd just like to have a full league schedule somewhere, maybe in the Big Ten. I'd like to find a home to grow and things like that. He said, that could happen. That could happen. And I said, maybe I'd like to work some championships of the MAC and the Mid-Con or Summit and Big Ten. He says, well, that's pretty hard. I said, the really goal would be to work the NCAA tournament, which I worked 20 straight years. I said, I'd really like to work. He said, well, that's going to be hard. And so jokingly, I said, I guess the ultimate goal would be to work a regional or a Final Four. He looked at me and said, I never did, and you never will. So I put that in my back pocket, and I've always thought about that. I always gained strength from this. Tell me I can't do something, I'll find a way to get it done.
And get it done, Terry Wymer did. Before he retired, he would work 35 seasons as a college basketball official, 22 straight NCAA tournaments, 11 regionals, 5 Final Fours, 3 national title games, and 6 Big Ten tournament title games.
But why do you want to do it? I think it's because you want to do what's right for the game of whatever sport you're officiating. And I want to do what was right for the game of basketball. And the camaraderie with other officials. I would tell you this, well, it gets to be pretty lonely when you're on the road because the big joke was always, I go down to Miami and work, and like most places, if you're working a lot, you leave home about 4:30. I get to Detroit Airport. I get the first flight out because the first flight has to leave. Fly into Miami, check in. I go to bed, get up, clean up, have a late lunch, then meet the guys, do the game, and then same thing the next morning. You're up early. The joke was, hey, how was Miami Beach? Did you like Miami? I couldn't even find Miami Beach out of the University of Miami. I didn't know that, where it's at. But that was always the joke wherever you went. My last year, because I knew I was going to retire, I was 60, going to be 63. All my peers had, most of my peers, all my friends had retired, majority of them. And it was just like, why am I still doing this? I've accomplished everything I can accomplish. Give newer guys an opportunity to fill your spot, fill a game. So I can tell you, my last year of officiating, I was only home 18 days and 5 months. But you know what? Your family sacrifices for you. You better, this is my 44th year of marriage. And without her, I couldn't have the family I have or had the freedom to do what I wanted to do. And the competition was good too. Just trying to be the best. But to answer your question, why do you want to do it? I think basically because they love the game and they want to be part of the game, and do what's best for the game of basketball or football, whatever it may be.
Well, going in, if you're a college basketball official, at times you are not the most loved person on the court. Yet for Terry, it has been gratifying.
I've worked for some of the greatest coaches ever. I mean, and the biggest compliment you get was somebody see you on the road, hey, I feel good because I see you on the road. I know we're not going to get homered. Everybody thinks you're going to get homered, which it's a fallacy, but it's good to see you on the floor. But you got to understand where I come from. I come from a small farming community, right? And I've been very blessed with the opportunities. I've had dinner with Bill Murray, Morgan Freeman. I've met Morgan Freeman, John Grisham. I mean, you go right through all the people, President Bush, all the people that I've met. That doesn't happen for many people, let alone North Baltimore people, right? I've been to some of the best restaurants in the United States, stayed at some of the nicest hotels. That just doesn't happen to a normal person, so I'm very blessed. But those, and the people I just met along the way, even fans. I walk into arenas, I'll go to Maryland, that front row, 4 guys out there. They're just good people because I treated them respectfully. When they'd be yelling at me, I went over and talked to them. They found out you're a human being, but that's what made it. And the coaches make a lot of it too. I mean, especially the coaches that have been around for a while. I don't want to get naming names, but some of the coaches have been around for a while. They just get it and they understand it, and it makes it. They know you're not trying to miss calls. They know you're not trying to screw them. They know you don't care who wins. You want to be the most objective and best official on national TV there is. And that I took great pride in that. Because, my last name, Wymer, my dad had 5 brothers. It was always important for me to make sure the Wymer name stood up strong, respectful, and that people could always look and say, hey, great family, great guy, great family man. And I always tell everybody, these young officials now, well, everybody wants to work in the Big Ten. It's tough to get to the Big Ten. It really is. And I always tell them you got to prioritize, faith, family, your job, and basketball. Put it fourth. A lot of guys can't do that, so when they lose their job, they lose their family. They never did have faith, so it's just you gotta keep priorities. But the most fun things were the stories with these entertainers or other athletes. Cal Ripken, met him, the guys that own Under Armour at Maryland. Hey, Will, beating you, man, that's something. Meeting the voices. Jason Benetti's with the Tigers now. He does games, does a great job also. So, but meeting a lot of talent, because the talent, what I'd say, that is fair. There's a couple guys, and you would know, that just aren't fair, the officials. And sometimes not even fair to the players either. But for the most majority, the media is pretty good people too, for the most of it. So, but just being around good people and doing what's right in your life, that's a big thing.
As we have mentioned, Terry Wymer has worked 3 NCAA tournament national title games. In moments like this, the spotlight shines bright on everybody. Players, coaches, and yes, even officials.
Well, it's interesting because you got to put I think it takes, you got to have the right mindset. And what I tell people is, there's nothing that can happen in that game that you haven't seen all year. Because, you work 70 to 90 games. You've seen everything possible. Enjoy the moment. That's what I tell the guys, especially when they're going the first time. That's what was important for me, is to just enjoy the moment.
When it comes to athletics, there is performance, and also there is family.
Quick story we'll share with you. I have son Luke, son Eric, and my daughter Rachel, who's just going to turn 30. I always tried to make all their sporting events. Luke played basketball, and in 4 years that he played varsity, I only missed 7 games. I can remember one day I was in Wisconsin for a noon tip, which they're an hour behind Central, and I made it back to, it's a 6-hour drive. I made it back at halftime with a varsity game to watch them. And my wife wasn't real happy that I would, with speed possibly, to get home. But my other son, he's a head track coach, or cross-country coach, assistant track coach at University of Findlay here, where I graduated from. But my daughter was a pretty good little soccer player and basketball player, but their basketball team was really bad. So my wife called me one night and said, "Hey, I got to tell you a conversation with Rachel." I said, "What's that? Everything okay?" "Oh, everything's great." But she said, "Dad really doesn't have to come watch me play because we're so bad." So, well, Dad wants to be there, support. It's important for him to get there with all you kids. And he said, "Yeah." He says, "Let me ask you a question. How many games is Dad working?" And I gave him a number. Usually I work between 70 and 80. He says, "Well, how much do you average a game?" Gave him a number. He says, "My recommendation would be tell him to pick up more games so we can vacation more."
Terry Wymer is currently the executive director of the Collegiate Officiating Consortium and coordinator of officiating for the Big Ten Conference, a position he accepted in 2023. The consortium consists of, along with the Big Ten, the Mid-American Conference, the Horizon League, and the Summit League. Not the easiest of assignments.
The first year I took this over, in the first 3 years I let 75 officials go in our consortium. But it consists of the Big Ten, Mountain West, MAC, Summit, Horizon. Officials don't know when to say it's time. They're either two ways. They go on their own, like I was intending to do before this job came my way, or they're going to be asked for a succession plan. What's going to happen? And then when you tell them this will be their last year, then they leave and they're all bitter. They don't look at all the success they've had for 20 or 25 years. That's a tough call. That's a tough call because they always say it's lonely at the top. I'd say officiating is a heck of a lot easier than this because I had to worry about one person. That was me. I could handle the coaches, so on and so forth, break down my video, and then make adjustments for the next game. Now I've got 140 on staff, which trying to get them all on the same page, it can be difficult. So we train a lot. It's not an easy job by any means, but if it was easy, everybody would be in consideration. But I brought some new faces in, which was very good, very helpful. I think they're well respected. Had to get rid of some people that was even working the Final Four that just didn't fit our model, so to speak. Because I always say this, you got to be a good locker room person, treat everybody with respect, and you got to be a good play caller. Now, you got good play callers out there, but they're bad in the locker room, and if you can't get along with your partners, that's long. That's a long night.
For Terry Wymer, it has been a heck of a journey, one that is still underway, and a journey he never saw coming.
No, if you foresee this in a crystal ball, you're amazing. I would tell you this: God has a plan for everybody, Will, and I just took advantage of that plan and an opportunities. You can't progress unless you get opportunities, and I was blessed with guys that believed in me and gave me opportunities. But to foresee this, no. To dream it, yeah, but to actually have it come to fruition, but to foresee it, no. Been very, very blessed, very lucky.
A salute to Terry Wymer, one of the good guys. Back with more in a moment.
So, got one for you, boss.
Oh, yeah?
What's black, white, and dented all over?
I give up.
The company truck. I know, but thanks to our agent, we've already submitted an insurance claim and can track the status right from the app. Auto owners pays what they owe without any hassle.
Lucky for you, that's simple human sense.
Ask your independent agent if auto owners make sense for you.
So I graduated last year and got a job. Sweet! But it got boring. I didn't really have a purpose. Then I started volunteering with Community Action. It's a statewide network with 29 agencies across Michigan. Community Action helps people with food, housing, utilities, childcare, senior services, you name it. I found my purpose, helping people, changing lives. Won't you join me? Call 1-855-MI-ACTION or go to MichiganCommunityAction.org. Sponsored by Michigan Community Action and Michigan Association of Broadcasters.
If you have diabetes, listen up. If you have insurance, you can qualify for a continuous glucose monitor. With a CGM, you can continuously track your levels and trends and spend more time in range, significantly lowering your A1C. More importantly, a CGM eliminates the one thing most people with diabetes hate: painful finger sticks. Order your new continuous glucose monitor today. If you use insulin and if you've seen your diabetes care provider within the last 6 months, you may qualify for your own CGM right now. We'll do all the insurance paperwork and deliver your new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost to you. Medicare and most insurances will cover your CGM, so don't wait. Have your insurance handy and call the Aptiva Medical CGM Health Hotline right now.
800-948-6912. 800-948-6912. 800-948-6912. That's 800-948-6912.
We'll be back with more in a moment. This is The Sports Life.
Anybody ready for a burger?
I'm State Fire Marshal Rich Miller, reminding everyone to think safety first when it comes to outdoor grilling, whether it's charcoal or gas. Never overload your grill with food. Excess fat and grease will create large flames. Grill outdoors and never inside or in a garage. Never leave a grill unattended and always keep a fire extinguisher nearby. For more tips on safe grilling, visit the Bureau of Fire Services website at michigan.gov/BFS.
Medicaid and CHIP offer free or low-cost health coverage for children and teens. Hospital and doctor visits, prescriptions, shots, and more are covered. That's peace of mind for parents if a child is sick or gets injured. And parents may now be eligible for Medicaid too, even if they've applied in the past. Enrollment is always open. Visit InsureKidsNow.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Welcome back from more of the Sports Life. Will Tiemann here along with Dalton Shever. Well, we've had an interesting show for sure. It was fun to salute the anniversary of the 10-second game 10 years ago. And, you know, we mentioned that was Jim Harbaugh's first season as Michigan's head football coach. For Mark D'Antonio, the Spartan head coach, collectively, that was career win number 100 for him. And the other thing we did mention, we talk about the 10-second thing, right? When the buses pulled up, one of the buses, he held the players for 10 seconds. I mean, what are we doing here?
It's just unreal.
I mean, this whole thing is a little different. And we also saluted the life and times of Terry Wymer, who passed away at the age of 66. Well, we have now worked our way to our parting shots. What do you got?
Oh, by the way, if you missed any of that, make sure you give us a follow at Sports Life Now on Twitter or X. Again, at Sports Life Now is where you can find us. For my parting shot, as we're really starting to get into basketball season, right? It tips off officially in the next week or two. Exhibitions are coming and going across the Big Ten. I wanted to take a look at bracketology at this point on the men's side, because why not? When you're in October and around Halloween, you start thinking March Madness, right? At least sickos like me do. On the men's side, Joe Lunardi of ESPN has 11 teams from the Big Ten making the big dance this year. Also want to mention his two first teams that are out of the tournament at this point, Indiana and Maryland. So the Big Ten's looking at maybe 13 teams in contention of an NCAA tournament bid, which is just unbelievable. On the women's side, Charlie Cream, their bracketologist expert, has 13 teams in from the Big Ten on the women's side. So all in all, Will, you're looking at, as we get ready to launch this great Big Ten basketball season, the men and women have combined 24 teams maybe playing in the NCAA tournament. At least that's how they see it of now. And I was talking with Charlie Cream on a different program recently, and he said, look, it is guesswork in October. Take it with a grain of salt. Results may vary. Results may change. But nonetheless, that tells you how excited you should be as a Big Ten fan for this basketball season.
And you could argue UCLA has an honest shot at winning the women's national title. Mm-hmm. And the experts are saying, with the right matchups, Purdue could break a long drought for men's basketball. I mean, it's still hard to believe that Michigan State's the last team to win this thing, and that was 2000.
And on the women's side, it goes back even further with Purdue's title back before the turn of the millennium.
Well, I think the Big Ten's due.
I think you're right. Maybe in both.
Maybe in both. Well, my parting shot goes to talking about traditions. During this show, we've talked about a lot of these great Big Ten traditions, and one of those centers around the annual big-time football game between Michigan State and Michigan. The event is called Alex's Great State Race. For the past 12 years, this race has taken place on the eve of the MSU U of M football game, alternating locations each year with the site of the home game. Now, for 64 miles, that's the distance between Ann Arbor and East Lansing, MSU and U of M ROTC cadets run side by side together, bringing the game ball to the site of the game, which in this case is in East Lansing. Now, the race is in memory of MSU freshman Alex Powell, who passed away in 2011 from cancer. And this serves as a vehicle to raise awareness to two amazing organizations. One is Michigan State's Resource Center for Persons with Disabilities, and the other is Michigan's Student Accessibility and Accommodation Services. These two meaningful organizations are dedicated to providing students with disabilities an environment of opportunity with support services and academic accommodations, which is just one more example of why Michigan State and Michigan are such great universities. And with that, that's a wrap for our show for this week. As always, appreciate everybody joining us. And we should also note that you can find us wherever you find your podcasts, like SoundCloud, Spotify, and Apple. And make sure to check us out and hit subscribe. As always, thanks to the Big Ten Network. The Sports Life is produced by Dalton Shetler, and our executive producer is Wendy Hart. So on behalf of Dalton Shetler, I'm Will Tiemann, and thanks for your time.